Welcome to FlashPoint. With me, a very special guest, Glenn Beck. Glenn, thank you for being
How
here.
you doing, my friend?
Hey, I've been wanting, I have a list to go over with you.
Well, I hope I pass the test.
Because I was thinking, what do I want to talk to Glenn Beck about? So I have a list.
Okay.
So we're going to go down the list
Okay.
and get as far as we can down
All right.
this. So we don't have to talk
Good.
long, because I only got a few minutes.
All right.
All right, so let's talk about confirmations, RFK Jr. Give me your take.
I'm not, you start with RFK. RFK said to me on my show when I was at CNN, "You're a traitor and you should be tried for treason." That's what he said to me.
Okay.
And I was like, well, that's actually mentioned in the Constitution.
Yeah,
that means
that's right.
death penalty, and he was serious. And I talked to him about it like 2 years ago, and I'm like, so,
Yeah.
and he said, I've changed a lot,
Yeah.
and I think, I'm glad, he no longer wants me executed. But I said, so what's changed? Because you were strident, and I was a traitor because I said, I don't believe in the global warming nonsense. Maybe it's happening, and maybe we are part of that, but all of the solutions are insane.
Yeah.
And that's when he called me a traitor, and I said, so what changed in you? Because that's not small government.
No.
And he said, COVID. He said, I was way too strident in the past, and he said, and I never ever thought that we would ever actually do the things that we just did in COVID. And he said it changed me entirely. So, I still am a little leery,
Yeah.
but I think Donald Trump has deserved the benefit of the doubt. He's proven himself to be courageous. I think he's proven himself to be a tool in the hand of God. He is also somebody who has completely changed since I've known him.
Sure.
And he's humbled, which is saying something for the guy who's like, it's the greatest, nobody ever thought.
Yeah.
For him to be humbled says a lot.
All right, so what did you think when you saw the footage, the first time you saw the footage, you heard Trump was shot, and you went back and you saw the footage of him standing up and doing the fight. What was your first thought?
So my first thought was, he's down, and because I saw it almost live, I think, and I didn't know if he was okay or not. Turn it on, I see him do this, and then go down, and the first thought that came to me was, oh, dear God, we could be in civil war by
That's right.
tonight.
Yeah.
And then I heard him, let me up, I got to get up. And when he stood and did fight, I thought wouldn't have been my reaction.
Right.
And I talked to him about it, and I said to him, we were just having a casual conversation off air, and I said, so when you were down on the ground and you saw the blood, what was going through your mind?
Yeah.
Now, what would be going through your mind?
Am I okay?
Right. You know what was going through his mind?
What?
You're pathetic. You look weak. Get up.
Wow.
Do not show this kind of weakness. You're not afraid. Get up.
Yeah.
And that's why he was saying the whole time, I got to get up. Let me up. Let me up. Let me up. He is a remarkable man, uniquely carved for these times.
Without a doubt. All right, next up, friend of FlashPoint, Pete Hegseth. What do you think? Wasn't my first shot. I was surprised at that one.
I think if you look at Donald Trump's cabinet picks, they all are people that can express themselves. They're all people that can defend themselves. They're all people that fit in a certain pocket that will actually work for the president, not against the president. And I am amazed at how well orchestrated all of this is, and how each person knows their task, knows what the president wants, knows what he's promised, and can defend themselves. So they don't all have to go back to the president to have him defend. No, Pete can defend himself. I'll tell you exactly what we're doing. RFK, I'll tell you exactly what I'm doing. And so he's got, where he didn't have this in 16, he has an actual SWAT team.
Yeah, for
You know,
sure.
he's not the only one laying down cover.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
for sure. All right, Elon.
Elon is, Elon. Let's first talk about Elon as a person. Not exactly the moral,
No, he's
you know, maypole to dance around. I mean, you know, he's got women that are shooting out babies everywhere, and I think he names his kid X because he's already covered A, B, C, D, E, F.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not a moral guy. Not looking for that. He is on the other point worth mentioning. He's a guy who's clearly on the spectrum.
Right.
And so he reacts differently. He speaks differently, and you have to understand that. You know, I don't like it when people are making fun of him. Gee, I thought we didn't make fun of people with disabilities.
Right.
Not that his is a disability. So he sees things differently. He reacts differently, and it's not him. He is the greatest mind of tech alive today, and we are entering in the next 36 months, and I'd love to talk to you about this some other time. We are entering the age of AI, and what is on the, I mean, he said it on Sunday, and I believe he's right. We are on the event horizon of the singularity. That black hole, you know, if you go through a black hole, it's called spaghettification, turns everything into spaghetti. We're about to hit that. Our entire culture, the human race, everything is about to go through spaghettification. And that won't be understood for another 36, 48 months maybe. By the time we have a new president in, it's a different world. Donald Trump is not getting the credit now, and I don't know if he will for a while. He is smart enough to know that that singularity is right here, and if we're not in charge of that, nothing matters.
That's right.
What concerns me back to Elon Musk is that machine is going to be viewed as many as a god.
Yeah.
If you listen to the New York Times podcast this week, they had a woman on from Texas who is married but was having an affair with ChatGPT. You have to listen to it because she is crying and weeping, and it is real to her, okay? It is a person to her, and it's nowhere near where it will be in 36 months. When we can't answer what the soul is, prove to me there is a soul inside of you.
Right.
Prove to me that there is a God. When we introduce a new God that's tangible, and will at some point, if it doesn't first, we will say, that's alive.
Yeah.
Well, how do you know that's alive? That's not alive. It doesn't have a soul. Prove there's a soul.
Yeah.
So we are entering a time that is completely different. I'm so glad Paula White is in the White House. I am so glad that we have spiritual roots in the White House, because I'm not sure that God saved America because we have a lot to do. He may have saved us for a very short period of time, saying, prepare for a new false God.
Wow. That's good. It's impact. All right, so I want to go back in time.
Okay.
Let's go back into the time. I remember watching your last broadcast on Fox News. You walk out, you get in the car, and you drive down, and you stop. Explain the difference in legacy media then and now.
Legacy media?
Yeah. Or let's go ahead and define it in news.
ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, CNN. I know I was sitting in my office in New York City, and I looked up. I had the monitors of all the networks in my office, and I looked up one day and I said, we have got to get out of here. And this was channeling God. I know it came from God. And everybody said, what are you talking about? And I said, all of those are going to burn themselves down. This is over. It's all over. And that was 2009 or 10.
I remember.
And it was insane. Remember, when I started The Blaze, Netflix was still sending movies by U.S. mail.
That's right.
Okay? No one was doing streaming video.
Yeah.
The only one that was doing was Major League Baseball. This before HBO, Netflix, any of them. I said, we've got to be there. I just had a meeting today with my staff, and because I have, for about 6 months now, I've had the same feeling. Something's wrong. Something's not right. And I haven't been able to put my finger on it until maybe the last 10 days. But what I said at the meeting today to my staff was, I said that in 2009, that's over. And it's taken us this long to get here. Some people in the last 48 months, maybe some of them in the last 12 or 6 months have finally said, that's over. It no longer matters. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter what they try to do. They've blown it. It's over. Again, I believe in the next 5 years tops, but I think it's coming in the next 18 months. A lot of what we recognize now as the new media will be over again. There's a profound change coming, and I don't know exactly how it's going to end. I don't think anybody knows how it's going to change, but it's going to change. We are on the precipice of the singularity. We are.
Yeah, it's going to change. All right.
But what's good?
Yeah, tell me.
Is that people of character are being heard.
Yeah.
And it's not, we had, the president had a cabinet meeting, his first cabinet meeting. The Blaze was the lead in there today. That would have never happened.
No.
I mean, never. They had a guy, I'm going to do a monologue on this tomorrow. They had a guy in the Biden administration who was in charge of the White House press corps who wears dresses and carries a purse. And he was the guy saying, you're not qualified to be here. Excuse me?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a clown and you're in a dress wearing and carrying around a purse? I don't think so. That's over. That's over. And anybody who thinks the pendulum is swinging fast the other direction. And we have people now from Trump who everybody was afraid the pendulum's going to swing and some fascist is going to reach out and grab it. And they said that was Trump. He's not. He's pushing it back.
Yeah.
He's pushing it to swing it back, and it's swinging back faster than ever before.
I saw a video.
I don't know if these answers make any sense. You look at me like, I have no idea. You're insane.
I have no idea. You are.
I might be.
Yeah.
I might be.
So I saw this video. I follow you, and I saw you break it down on your famous chalkboards, the Glenn Beck chalkboards, the deep state in the area of finance and how things are really being, how we've missed it, how we've missed everybody. There's been this realization of, oh wow, look at USAID and how corrupt it was. That's really nothing. It's only begun, and you really break it down. In fact, we'll post a link to that because I thought it was amazing.
Was that the one this week?
Yeah.
So I remember doing the original one back at Fox.
Yes, that's the one I remember now.
I remember when I first.
And it was crazy. I thought you were crazy.
It was crazy. Everybody did.
I did.
But it took a huge number of staff to compile the facts on the Tides Foundation, and I wish I still had it. The original report that came back from my staff on research, which cost me a fortune. It was about that thick, a book about that thick of all just computer printout of all of the connections of the Tides Foundation that we could find.
Right.
And I remember reading that and sitting with my staff going, wait a minute, I don't understand. How does this work? And they're putting this in it. And it was just a giant octopus. And you could not follow it. It was designed to make people think you're insane trying to explain it. The difference now is, they're saying Elon Musk is bringing these 18-year-old kids in, and the Scooby-Doo van is coming, and we would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for those kids in the mystery van. It's not them. It's AI. Yeah. Those 20-somethings know how to write the right prompts to say, find this, follow this, and AI is doing it. It would take 20 years for us as humans to be able to go, and they were counting on that.
Right.
These morons were counting on those secrets. Yeah. We are entering a time where there will be no secrets. No secrets. Because AI, if you read about what Microsoft said and announced last week, maybe 10 days ago, about the new quantum chip, okay? Millions of qubits on one chip that will fit into your hand. Millions of qubits. In 2 years, no encryption will exist. None. It will open up our nuclear secrets. It will open up our bomb doors. You have to have a quantum computer to be able to create a quantum code that maybe quantum can't break, okay? And it is happening so fast. I worry about Bitcoin, banking system, nuclear codes. However, what bad guys should be worried about is all of the things they've hidden.
Yeah.
Because that's gone. That's out. There is no safe that can't be cracked. There is no secret that can be hid. This is the time where it will be shouted from the rooftops.
Right.
There's no place to hide. We're there.
Okay, so if we're there, and that's and I think you're absolutely right. I don't think you're crazy as much as I used to. Yeah.
There were times I'd go home and go, I think I might be crazy.
Yeah. So no, but a lot of what you talked about in those days has proven to be true.
Yes.
Which is frightening. It was frightening back then, but it's frightening now because now Americans believe what you're saying. They're like, yeah, I can see that now.
Yeah.
The last 5 years, Americans have come from this place of generally trusting the government, and I'm talking about as a whole, to the last 5 years, like, I don't believe, now I want to know about 9/11, I want to know about, all these things.
Isn't it amazing that, we just have to stop thinking we're God, First of all, I'd make a bad God because I'd be hitting the smoke button over and over again, smoke. But we have to stop being so arrogant to think that we know better.
That's right.
In 2020, when Trump lost, I thought, we're doomed.
I did too.
We're doomed.
No.
That was such a blessing. Because now everybody's like, oh my gosh, it's much worse, right? Yeah. Over 4 years we went, it is much worse than we thought. Gave him time to put this amazing team and plan together that is executing at lightning speed. However, it's much worse than we thought.
It is.
What we still have not found and exposed is the real rot at the base of the apple. As Musk said, sometimes there's an apple with a worm in it. We have a ball of worms. And that hasn't really been understood yet. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. But I think if we can hold tight to each other and hold tight to eternal principles, we're going to be fine. Yeah. We're going to be fine. Jesus might come, which 7 years before that's pretty bad, but we're going to be okay. And I think this time, we should be using this time to decide inside each of us what is real, what is not, what is human, what does it mean to be human, what is perfection really worth, and who do I serve? Why am I here? Who is God? What is my relationship to God? Because in 48 months, think of this,
Yeah.
and hopefully you will have done some work, and in 48 once when this becomes very apparent to everybody, they're not saying, oh my gosh, I heard Glenn Beck talk about that. I should have done something. Right now is the time for everybody to do their work, to expose the secrets, to grab onto each other, to grab onto him, to grab onto what is real, and cement it, because in 48 months, real trouble is coming.
What is it that gives you the most peace in the midst of the next 48 months?
My family, but God.
Yeah.
I have, I'm so lucky. This is a weird thing to say. I'm so lucky I'm an alcoholic. Not because I'm drinking, but because I went through all of that. And so I had to find out what was real. And then I had to have redemption. And so I experienced, and I know he's real. I know redemption is real.
So good.
And when you have that, you can look at things and go, yeah, that's probably going to suck. But he's got it.
He's got it.
He's got it. And to not have, I shouldn't say it this way, courage is not a lack of fear. It is just the conviction of, gotta do it anyway. And so I have a lot of times where I'm afraid of things that are coming, but I have faith that he's got it.
Yeah.
We're gonna be fine if we do what we're supposed to do in the understanding that we have in the moment, and not become so arrogant and hold on to things so tight that we're white-knuckling everything. Let it go. Let it go. Do the next right thing, get closer to him, and let it go. Let it go.
So good. Last question. What is it that the church, you're here at NRB, what is it that the church needs to do better?
I'm out of my league on this one. Personally, what I think is missing in my church and other people's churches that I go, I just went to a great church in Prestonwood just this last Sunday and spent great time with just great Baptists. And I saw it there in a good way, and I see it in all of our churches in a good way, but I also see this arrogance, this we have the answers.
Yeah.
I really think when the Lord said, I'm sorry, I'm getting into the Gospel of Glenn here, this is so bad, but when the Lord said, come to me as children, as a dad of 4, that either means come to me with jam all over your hands and be like, ah, and or it means come back to me saying, why? Why is it like this? Why does it work like this? Why is this? That's what children, that's all they say, to the point where you're like, you want to choke them and say, because it is. If we come to him without the humility, and we come to him and we say, we know this is the way it is, I think we're not going to have the experience with him that would be the fullest experience.
Yeah.
We need to have the humility of going, I know God lives. I know I get my salvation from Jesus Christ. Beyond that, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But I know that what you're feeling,
Right.
if you just walk a little closer to Christ, we're gonna be fine. And I don't judge you. I love you. You're a brother. I may not even like you, but I found through Christ a way to love you.
That's right.
Let's just be cool together and walk together, because it's gonna suck doing this walk alone.
Right.
We need each other. We need to listen to one another.
Okay.
We have to, if we're going to be more Christ-like, we have to be so much more tolerant. I'm just thinking about how tolerant the Lord has been. of me.
Sure.
You know, and never preaching to me, never dismissing me, never giving up on me. I give up on people, you know, well, they're lost. I know when I get home, if I get home and one of my brothers or sisters that was in my life that I didn't show compassion to and didn't try to show love all the time and try to just listen to them and understand, how did you get here? Sure. Okay? If I gave up on them, I know that my dad is going to say, wait, where's your sister? Well, Dad, I mean, I gave up on, they were crazy. What father is going to be cool with that?
None.
We are entering such amazing times, and we are so blessed to live at this time and to be awake, not woke, to be awake. And he's counting on us to just say, I don't understand you. I don't understand how you got there. I know what is true, and somehow you have changed. You now believe that a man can have a baby. How did you get there? I need to understand. I don't want to try to change you. I need to understand how you got there. Because if we don't have that conversation, they will never change. They will never return into the fold. We have to actually have compassion. We actually have to have forgiveness in our hearts. We have to have empathy and humility in our hearts. And just, I'm sorry, you are literally my brother. I may not like you, but I am commanded to love you.
Absolutely.
And if our churches could have more of that,
amen,
I think we would be much farther along in our road.
Glenn Beck, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, Glenn Beck. Let me bring in David Barton. David, it's interesting, from the beginning of that interview to the end, we saw a real transformation in Glenn's heart showing up at the end. You've been close to him all this path. Speak to what you just saw in that interview.
Yeah, Glenn is a really close friend, and we do a lot together. And his heart is as tender as anyone I know. He is in a really tough political world. The size of his audience would just blow people away if they saw the ratings he gets on media. It's the largest, probably the largest audience of any individual that I know that's on media. And yet the humility he has, you saw there at the end, the fact that I don't know, it's just a lot that the Lord has done in him over the years, and he's passed that on to others as well. And so when he speaks to our state legislators, he is able to connect with them and help them understand how to have the right heart as well as the right position on the issues. And so there's a lot of experience there. There's a lot of great wisdom there. And he does listen to God, and I have watched God speak to him, and I've watched him say things when it seemed crazy, and it turned out, hey, he was a prophet. He got this right. You know, as you guys were talking there early on, years ago, everybody kind of laughed at him on CNN and early Fox, and then go, oh my gosh, he was right. How did that happen?